Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. We start our video today with a story from a hardware store where a slow, snowy day took a strange turn thanks to one extremely high customer who thought he'd uncovered a secret paint conspiracy and ended up meeting the color wizard. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. I am a wizard. So this story happened 3 to 4 years ago, but I completely forgot about it until recently. I used to work in the paint department of a big box hardware store. It was a really slow day, and I'd already finished most of the stuff I had to do for the day. From what I remember, there was some pretty heavy snow, and people were pretty much just traveling for emergency needs, and there's no such thing as a paint emergency. So anyway, this guy wanders by my department, and he doesn't seem to be all there. He gets about halfway past my desk, and he stops and stares at the paint swatches. He comes closer to them and starts inspecting them, like, really closely. I just think, whatever, guy might either just like color or wants to get a good one. We try not to bother people during the color selection process, since that's all personal preference. So this guy's there for almost an hour, going from color collection to color collection, and he has his phone out and appears to be taking notes, but doesn't take any swatches off the wall, which is weird. But again, I've seen weirder. Then he heads back to where we keep the unmixed paint. Side note, if you're buying paint, don't grab the can for the employee. It might be a different one than what you grabbed, and then we have to put it back. I get the idea, but please, we don't even know what it'll be sometimes. We just have to guess, and then the computer tells us. He comes up to me after about half an hour, and he asks me, "Hey man, those boxes up in the high shelves, do they have more paint in them?" Me, yes. Him, how many are in there? Me, 4 gallons to a box. Him, oh, all right. And then he goes back to the paint. I could tell he was high by the way he was talking very slowly, incredibly delayed reactions, and his eyes were super red. Why he came here high during a blizzard was and still is a mystery. But I finally realized what he was doing. He was counting the number of colors and how many paint cans we have. He came back up after another 15 minutes. Him, hey, so there are way more colors than there are paint cans? What happens if someone wants a color that you don't have? Me, well, I make the colors. Him, in all seriousness, are you a wizard? Me, yes. Him, don't worry, color wizard, your secret is safe with me. He then wandered off, never to be seen again. I still have many questions, none of which will ever be answered. But at least I was blessed by the high color counter. Retail workers are the unsung heroes of the weirdest human behavior. You don't just sell products, you bear witness to the bizarre, the baffling, and the beautiful. And sometimes you get ordained as a wizard. And our second story. HOA played parking cop, I played parking detective. Recently, my buddy's been crashing at my place a few nights a week. It's nothing unusual. We'll hang out, have a few beers, maybe watch a game, and if he's had too much to drink, I don't let him drive, he just crashes in the guest room. Honestly, I figured I was just doing the responsible thing. He always parks in my driveway, not in guest parking, not on the street, literally right in front of my garage door. My property, my rules. Or so I thought. A few days ago, I opened the mailbox and found a letter from the HOA. Not just any letter, it was labeled in bold at the top, First Immediate Violation Notice. I already knew it wasn't going to be good news. I read on. The letter detailed my supposed offense, overnight guest parking violation. They even listed my buddy's car, make, model, license plate, and claimed it had been parked in guest parking after hours. I stared at the letter, dumbfounded. Guest parking? His car wasn't anywhere near guest parking. He was parked squarely in my driveway, not blocking anyone, not on HOA-controlled property. My driveway is mine, period. At first, I laughed it off, typical HOA nonsense, but the more I thought about it, the more annoyed I got. These people had been nitpicking ever since I moved in, but this was next level ridiculous. So I decided to fight fire with fire. I went straight to my computer, pulled up the HOA's bylaws, and found exactly what I was looking for. Homeowners and their guests are fully within their rights to park in their own driveways. No overnight restrictions, no exceptions. I highlighted that section, took time-stamped screenshots from my security camera showing my buddy's car right where it belonged, and started drafting a response. Dear HOA Board, I began, trying to keep it as professional as I could. I am in receipt of your violation notice, dated, insert date. Please be advised that the vehicle in question was parked entirely within my private driveway as permitted under our community bylaws. See attached. Kindly update your records and rescind this violation notice. I wasn't done. As I was flipping through those bylaws, something else caught my eye. I remembered seeing one of the board members, let's call him Jim, regularly parking his extra vehicle in the guest parking spots overnight. Same spot, night after night. Since I walk my dog late most evenings, I'd seen it plenty. Just for good measure, I even snapped a photo or two over the past couple of months when I noticed the pattern. So I attached those photos too. In the interest of fairness, I wrote, I've also noticed a vehicle belonging to a board member that appears to be parked overnight in guest spaces on numerous occasions. See attached. I trust that our community standards apply equally to all residents and board members. Please confirm how you wish to proceed regarding this matter. I CC'd the property management company, the HOA president, and every board member. If they wanted to play parking police, they could at least be consistent. A few days later, I got a very different letter. No bold accusations this time, just a polite apology saying the violation had been issued in error and that no further action would be taken. They thanked me for bringing the matter to their attention and assured me that my buddy was within his rights to park in my driveway. And wouldn't you know it, that board member's extra car suddenly vanished from guest parking. Haven't seen it parked there overnight since. My buddy still parks in my driveway when he stays over, and we haven't had another peep from the HOA. It's funny how quickly they backed off once they realized I wasn't about to roll over. Sometimes the only way to deal with petty rules is to shine a light on who's really breaking them. My driveway's been drama-free ever since, and I still get a little satisfaction every time I see guest parking empty at night. No mystery board member car claiming a free space anymore. Some might call it overkill, but honestly, after years of HOA overreach, this kind of quiet revenge is the most satisfying kind. They wanted a fight, you gave them paperwork, and in the end, you won without ever raising your voice. Cheers to that. And our last story. My neighbor tried to steal my hot spring. I live in a quiet mountain neighborhood in California, tucked away on a semi-rural street where most people mind their business and enjoy the natural beauty of the area. A little stream runs through the backyards of several houses, and a few of us use it to water gardens or build small pools. My property, however, has a rare gem, a natural hot spring built into a sort of in-ground spa. When I bought the place, the previous owners gave me one major warning. Avoid the woman next door. Let's call her Karen. According to them, Karen had previously sued them over some nonsense claim that part of the land was hers. That suit got tossed, but the message was clear. She was in trouble. Still, when I moved in, her kids came over with cookies. I figured maybe things had cooled off. I even invited her and her family to a small welcome barbecue. That was a mistake. Midway through the evening, Karen pulled me aside and started listing the neighborhood rules. Most were basic stuff like noise and parking, but then she said kids were free to roam everyone's backyards via the stream and that the hot spring was for communal use. I told her that I wasn't comfortable with that, and she got frosty. I later spoke to other neighbors who confirmed her rules were entirely made up. One even told me Karen had a history of suing businesses and people just to get her way, including a pizza place she nearly bankrupted over a peanut allergy claim that many believe she faked. I decided to keep things polite but distant. That didn't last long. About a week later, I came home to find Karen's kids splashing in my hot spring tub. The lid's heavy. There's no way they got it off without help. I asked them to leave. They refused. Mom says it's ours too, one of them snapped. I made it clear it wasn't and sent them home. I bought locks for my gates that same day. Karen showed up not long after, furious that I'd yelled at her kids and reminded me again of the rules. I told her she was being recorded. I wasn't, but I ordered cameras that night. Weeks passed, Karen ramped up the petty harassment, complaining about the color of my fence, the height of my trees, how I used the stream. Jay, my chill neighbor on the other side, started calling her out for it. Things escalated when I left town for a friend's wedding and started getting motion alerts. Karen's kids were trampling through my garden, smashing pepper plants I'd spent months nurturing. And then it hit a new level. One alert showed a plumbing team in my backyard setting up piping. I checked the footage. Karen was standing there instructing them. They were trying to siphon water from my hot spring into her yard. I called Jay, my chill neighbor, then the police. By the time I got home, the work crew was packing up and leaving through a busted gate. Karen claimed she had a contract one I'd signed, giving her the rights to the hot spring for $2 a month. Except I never signed anything. I demanded to see the contract. She waved it around but refused to hand it over. The cops couldn't do much in the moment, but I consulted my lawyer and we agreed the contract was fake, not even forged. She'd signed it with her own lawyer and didn't include a signature line for me. Wild. I ripped out every inch of piping that night and returned the pieces via courier, one tiny section at a time. She signed for each one, fuming from her doorstep. The next phase, biological warfare. Karen was spotted pouring something into the stream, something that caused my plants to wither and die. We did water testing and found the pH and oxygen levels were off. Karen later admitted to a neighbor that she dumped vinegar into the stream as justice. At that point, the neighborhood turned against her. We dammed the stream to stop the flow downstream, and I reported the dumping to an environmental protection nonprofit who escalated it to local authorities. She was brought back in for questioning shortly after. When she got back, she started yelling obscenities over the fence while I soaked in my very much private hot tub. And she wasn't done. Not long after, I received a mysterious wedding invitation. I didn't know the couple, but on the back was a handwritten note thanking me for hosting the bachelorette party in my backyard. Turned out the bride was marrying Karen's adult son, a son she had abandoned as a baby, raised by his father. She'd offered my yard for the party to impress them. I called the groom's dad, GD, who confirmed everything and apologized. He was mortified. To make things right, I offered my backyard for the real party with two conditions. Karen wouldn't be allowed near it, and she'd be banned from the wedding venue. The party happened. It was a hit. I stayed inside but was tipped over $3,000 just for having a nice hot spring. Karen fumed over the fence the whole time, even tried to spray us with a hose. That night ended with her banging on my door in a drunken rage, which I ignored. Update. The next day, the day of the wedding, she tried to force her way into the venue in a white dress. She was turned away by security. Furious, she came home and broke into my house. She slapped me. I called the cops while barricading upstairs. She tried to slap me again, and I dragged her out the front door just in time for the police to arrive and arrest her. She hasn't come back. Her husband later came over and asked me to let it go. She's going through things, he said. Yeah, through my fence, my pipes, and my damn patience. I hosted a neighborhood barbecue the next day to unwind. We grilled, we laughed. And yes, I soaked in the hot spring knowing she couldn't touch it, or me ever again. Karen's imaginary neighborhood rules were just a power play. But her boldest move, hiring a plumbing crew to steal your hot spring water. The fact that she forged a contract without even faking your signature proves she's either wildly incompetent or truly believes her own lies. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.